Hello everyone, thank you for pressing on my video. I have a very good news for you. Today I'm going to start with a new chapter. If before I spoke about listening skills, today I'm going to start with speaking skills. And I want to begin with discussing the classic mistakes that we all do. Well, first of all, we are sometimes afraid, sometimes ashamed to speak a new language because we don't want to speak it the broken way, and sound stupid or sound funny. On the other hand, we do not practice speaking with someone who also speaks a broken language because we don't want to learn it the wrong way. But we also don't have a native speaker or someone who speaks it fluently to practice it with. So as a result, we don't practice speaking at all. So we don't speak the language at all, even if we learn how to listen, to understand it by listening, or to read, to understand it by reading. But unfortunately, if you practice listening, you'll be able to understand listening. If you practice reading, you'll be able to understand reading. But to be able to speak a language, you need to actually speak it. I'm sure all of you know a lot of people who moved to another country and they even live there for several years. They understand the language of that country, but they are not able to speak it because they are not practicing speaking it for the same reasons: shame, afraid, feel uncomfortable, or self-inconfident, and things like this. As well as you cannot learn to walk until you fall down a couple of hundreds of times, you need to make thousands of mistakes to be able to speak a language normally. So for this, you need to train. Well, I hope I convinced you that training in speaking is very important. So let me go to how to actually train to speak a language. Well, every language has its own specific sounds, like, for example, the lisping th in Spanish or the hard r in Russian. So every language has its own specific sounds, and to be able to reproduce them without mistakes, we need to train. We need to train, first of all, our muscle memory to the level where we do not think how to place our tongue, to be able to pronounce a specific sound. You need to make it subconsciously, just as a muscle memory. And the first step in training to do that is to repeat. Imagine you're watching a video on YouTube. Watch it several times. Not in order to understand it. You need to understand it first, of course, but also to repeat it. Try to reproduce, to mimic the narrator, like the intonation, the pronunciation, the speed, and even the pauses between words. This way you will teach your muscles to pronounce the words in a foreign language. Second step is to speak with yourself in front of a mirror or in front of a camera. Imagine you are, checking in a hotel and try to convince the receptionist that you need to have a room with a sea view. Role play. We need to do this because we need to train our ability to take out of our vocabulary that is stored somewhere in the brain, to take out the words from there and form phrases out of them. You can excellently do it in your native language, but you need to train this ability in a foreign language, because all these neuron, ways that lead from the storage to the tongue needs to be practiced. So, and the third step in practicing a language is to find a speaking club or a native speaker to speak to. The more you practice, the better you learn. You cannot learn to play soccer without playing it just by reading a book about it. The same with a language. You cannot learn to speak a language without practicing speaking. So I hope the information I gave you today is really useful for you, and I wish you luck with your trainings in speaking. I will be very thankful if you press like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time. Bye.